All right, Coach, congrats on the win. A hard-fought win against a scrappy Memphis team. Overcame a 4-run deficit to advance. Just talk about overall game.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in postseason, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Every game's a tough game. The first game is usually the toughest. And I think you got to see kind of a few of our little nervous jitters, just because we're still, again, a young team. This entire squad can return next year. And so I like how we settled in after, that first inning and then even after the third inning defensively, and then we started to kind of just pluck away. But after that double play, and we got the momentum back in our hands, I felt like, okay, we're going to start to, set our momentum, get our pace, and really take stride. So proud of their fight, and hopefully we learned a few things along the way to make it a little easier on ourselves for tomorrow.
So take me through that. It was that double play in the top of the fourth, and as soon as I was turned, you came out of that dugout, and you were yelling at the player. Like, I've never seen you before like that during the inning there to fire them up. Just take me through that sequence that you were trying to do there with the players.
Yeah, I knew it was a big time moment. Their leadoff hitter had given us trouble, just kind of that nagging, like getting on, getting hit, a little air here and there, or like a bloop over our third base. But she did a great job for their team getting on, and so rolling a double play with her up was huge. And that's when I was like, all right, we can come back and take this thing. And I saw that, all of us were a little hesitant, so I thought, well, if they need a little push in, I'm ready to do it. And they followed, and then they started to take charge. So I had to, take a little breather after that, because getting fired up, I got to make sure I stay calm and make all my right moves on the lineup and with pitch calling. But whatever it takes to get this team fired up and get it going. And when postseason comes, we have to play different roles sometimes.
You managed to limit them to get 7 unanswered runs in order to bring out that win. Just talk about what the resilience, because Aubrey and Jasmine talked about the resilience of this team. How big was that resilience in that moment when you got down 4-0?
Yeah, and like I said, that double play was huge, because I knew, okay, if we can lock that leadoff hitter down and then kind of go from there and get the momentum in our hands, we're going to be able to do our thing. And so we just ticked away, we plucked away. I think we start off with Kennedy hitting a triple, and that's how we scored. And once that happened and we started to settle in, I like how we stayed in the box and wore a few balls to get runners on and to move runners over, and we used all parts of our game. So I think it's huge for us to play our best at the end of the game, and we got to see that. Sarah settled in. She had a few walks early on when she came in, and she settled in, worked with the strike zone, and did her thing. And I love how just cool and calm she was in that 7th inning. Even when she didn't get some of those questionable changeup calls, she didn't show emotion, and she stayed with it. So excited to get back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, in fact, there was a young little boy fan named Kasem who I asked him before the game who's a key player. He yelled, Sarah Willis. But she helped you with your offense, too. Got a big hit there, and her pitching there, two-way there for her.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, because she squared up those other 2 balls that got caught, but I thought it's probably it was probably worked to our advantage that she got to sit in there and rest a little bit, because it's a warm day. She's been working hard. She ran the bases a couple times. So it worked to our advantage that I think that she did line out and have a loud out. But just her ability to make the pitchers and defense work just provided more to our offense, and they kept feeding off of her too.
So now you guys are going to play the winner of the game that's about to start between USF and ECU. After a big win like that, what's the mindset you have looking toward the game tomorrow?
Yeah, we're still going to play against our best self. That's going to be the biggest thing. And again, I think we started to do that in the end of third, bottom of third, the top of 4th inning. But we know a lot about these teams, right? We've played them each 3 times. We've been very successful against them. And I think that, one of the teams has maybe a few things that we didn't get to see first time around. So, we're going to do our job of scouting and watching the game and figuring out what works best for us against whatever Sally's going to be throwing to us that day.
You mentioned playing the previous teams 3 times. This was your 4th consecutive time playing Memphis. What's it like coaching against the same team for the 4th consecutive time, especially in this environment where the winner, the outcome of the game proves so crucial to later on?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't care who you're playing. To play the same team over and over and over again is tough because they have, hitters have so much film and technology to know what you're throwing, and like kudos to all the pitchers and on both sides for keeping that game close because everyone got to see all those pitchers multiple times. So again, that's the staying within ourselves, playing solid defense at the end, and being resilient.
You mentioned that you didn't want to get yourself too hyped up, but I mean, I feel like that aspect of yourself is really translated to the players because once they got pumped up, I mean, they just kept that going for a lot of the game. What does that speak to this team's togetherness, considering that you mentioned they're all could return next year?
Yeah. I mean, I'm highly competitive. I may try to act more poised than I am in my own head. I am definitely a competitive person, and so sometimes I have to show what that looks like and for the team and help them along the way because I have been in probably more of these moments than they have just being in the game as long as I have. But again, once they start to figure out that they can do that, I don't have to lead the way. They're going to do it themselves, and so that's truly what we're looking for is someone to just go in and get it, right? So Jada Cody and Shannon Doherty have been our captains for quite some time, and I think they played super solid the entire game and played steady for us, and so I want to see them kind of take the reins and get their team fired up like that too.
Any comments, by the way, because Sarah Willis got unanimously selected for the Pitcher of the Year award, and of course a lot of other nights ended up getting nominated for conference honors before you came out here. Just any comments on those?
Yeah, I mean, I think all well deserved. You got to see Sarah in the circle today. That's why she's Pitcher of the Year. She can throw any of her pitches in any counts. Doesn't matter the situation. I mean, that takes guts. I don't care how good you are, how successful you've been, to continue to keep doing it in those pressure situations takes guts, and love that she's on our side.
All right, awesome. Best of luck tomorrow, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.